for those, number one, let me record this. Another thing is, like I said, the wars in different areas, and it's normally while we're idle, we're being taken by some of these wars. You have to know the mindset of those who are fighting against us. The Greeks and Romans don't change their tactics. They do the same thing over and over again. And Lawya is going over a book right now, and I'm going to sit with him with that. I want to talk to him about it, because this book actually goes into the past actions of the Grecians, their worships, their gods, and it's everything you see today, but they just gave it another name, or a date close to the same date they're doing it. But the holidays, everything they're doing is the same gods they're worshiping. Like you were saying something about, you were telling me about the Olympics. The Olympics, how these were games to the god Zeus. And they have them till this day. Let's read this out of Maccabees real quick. Maccabees 6:1. Listen to this clearly. These are wars. These are spiritual wars. They have to do with these entertainments, but you don't know there's a God behind a lot of this entertainment. And I'm going to say this. And these gods require blood sacrifice. See, a lot of you don't understand that Moloch, the Most High, had a problem, big problem with our people dealing with the god of Moloch, because it meant human sacrifice. This is what we warn against, folks. Like, if you want to do anything in this society, like real big, you must be introduced from a rabbi to a high priest that will allow you to sell your soul in this world for a price. But someone has to die, brothers and sisters. And that introduction comes through rabbis. You notice that all your lawyers, your entertainment lawyers, they're Jewish. They all go to the synagogue. When they see someone that have some serious talent and they scope it in these corporations, sooner or later they'll take that person to a rabbi and they'll meet a top priest who will give them everything they want. But someone must die. This is what the Most High God of High was trying to keep his people from. Look at what just happened to Amy Winehouse. She just died, Jewish woman. Mysterious death. They're saying they're not going to know what happened to her until October. Remember when Michael Jackson died? Under mysterious circumstances, and they was doing autopsies and they was waiting, and no one still figured out why he died. This is the world we're in, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, it's crazy. The worshiping of Moloch and child sacrifice and human sacrifice for your soul to gain notoriety and power and status in this world still exists. It's real.
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there. Like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil. Like you're gonna end up on a one-way street and it's going nowhere. Like that's just the truth. I've seen so many people like forsake their moral code and their value systems just for a little bit of fame, and it's not worth it at the end of the day. It's really not worth it.
Look at Michael Jordan, number 23. Think that's a coincidence? On the Kabbalah, 23 is Satan's number. What happened to his father? Mysterious death. Bill Cosby from Philadelphia. Everyone knew he was a known sorcerer, even in Philadelphia. The guy could do no wrong. As soon as he got big, real big, the husband was one of the most richest man on earth. What happens? His son come up missing, dead. Sacrifice. Tony Dungy, football coach, got big. Wasn't that big at first. There was not too many black coaches. The first black coach to win a Super Bowl. A Catholic. Right after he wins the Super Bowl, what happens? His son mysteriously dead. This is what goes on, brothers and sisters. And I think we're going to have to do, if the Most High permit, we have to do one of these little, a little mini film or something on the lifestyles of the business and what really happens there as far as sacrificing goes. But it first starts with, believe it or not, sexual rituals. Sexual rituals first. They get you in the entertainment business and get you out there with sexual rituals. And then it goes a step higher. Then they started dealing with substances. Then after that, it goes higher. Then next thing you know, your Jewish lawyer introduce you to a rabbi at a party someplace. You don't know he's a rabbi. You think he's a regular guy. And then he introduces you to a priest. And next thing you know, you're bringing a new religion in your house, and everybody wondering what you're dealing with. You're not saying anything, and you become a star. What's a star? An angel. You worship like a god. Overnight, an overnight success. Look at the sister from the Dream Girls, Jennifer Hudson. Became a star. Whole family wiped out. Mother, nephew. A straight sacrifice. See, a lot of these things, you can't talk about, but in certain circles, especially in the entertainment business, you know that these things are real. It's just as real as as us sitting here talking today. Most entertainers know that. Listen, I need to go speak to the rabbi. I want a better life. This is what happens. I need you to read this in Maccabees real quick.
2 Maccabees chapter 6 verse 1.
6 verse 1, read it.
Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers.
So they sent a man from Athens to tell the Jews to depart from the gods of their fathers. Athens is Greece. Read.
And not to live after the laws of the Most High.
And not to live after the laws of the Most High. Read.
And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter, Olympus.
To defile the temple, and call the temple of God the temple of Jupiter. Read.
And to call the temple of and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius.
And call it what?
Jupiter Olympius.
Jupiter Olympius. In the 4th century AD. Under Constantine. They did an integration of pagan worship, and they integrated it with Christianity. And they took all the pagan gods out of the pagan temples and set it up within the church. Right now, at the Vatican, there's a bronze original statue of Jupiter that they told the masses is Peter. And they go kiss Peter's feet at every pilgrimage to the Vatican. This is our worship, brothers and sisters. This is the war we're in. When it talks about Olympus, it's talking about the worship of Zeus in the Olympics. There's more. Read.
And that in garrison of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people.
It was so grievous to the people when we started entertaining this and introducing this to our people. Read.
For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, and dallied with harlots, and had to do with women with the circuit of the holy places, and besides that brought in things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth.
And the law was, the place was filled with all types of satanic defiling. They was bringing harlots in the temple. You notice during the time of the Olympics, look at the clothes the women are wearing and what the men have on, butt naked, running around throwing things around. And they draws. This is what's going on here. Total sadistic worshiping to the gods. You sitting there, got grown men, big, very strong men, with their hand on the ground, they behind up in the air, ready to say go, with little drawers on. And no one is looking at this like, hold up, just these are grown men here. These are people of the Most High. These were once warriors. Homosexuality is rampant in the Olympics. A lot of those men that are running are straight homosexuals. This is the world we're in. Finish reading what you have there.
Verse 6.
Neither one way it says, and put on hats. I think that's Maccabees 4, right? We talked about and made them wear hats for the games. Go ahead.
2 Maccabees chapter 6 verse 6.
Go ahead.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
And hold up. They made it unlawful to do what?
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
And then they made it a law that we couldn't keep the Sabbath day. They made it law because they knew if we followed the Sabbath, that's a sign between us and the Most High. So they paid our diplomats and our high teachers to teach the young to profane the Sabbath. These were the Greeks taught us. Read.
Or ancient feasts.
And not to follow the holy days. You know what the churches teach us that? Not to follow the Sabbath, not to follow the holy days, but celebrate Christmas and Easter. Same exact thing. You notice in Islam, they don't follow the holy days according to the correct days, and their Sabbath is from Friday in the morning to Friday night. They don't even deal with the Sabbath at all, because the Sabbath don't start until their Sabbath ends. You notice now amongst the Israelites now, they're now bringing out a new lunar Sabbath where they counting a Sabbath from a moon. It's the same sadistic and satanic practice. Read.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
And it was against the law for us to say that we were Jews. It was against the law. The Greeks did this to us, brothers and sisters. They made us denounce our national origin. Why? So they can take it. Chosen people, you're not going to need that label. You're not going to need that. Because what we're about to do you, buddy, hey, you're going to know that you're not chosen. You're not going to need that label. Chosen people? Okay. We'll take that. Read in Maccabees.
2 Maccabees chapter 4 verse 7.
Maccabees 4 and 7. Read.
But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason the brother of Onias labored underhand to be high priest, promising unto the king by intercession 360 talents of silver, and another revenue of 80 talents.
So after Antiochus Epiphanes came over and defiled Jerusalem, you had a high priest who was taking payoffs from the Greeks to defile our people. That's your modern day politicians. Look at Reverend Al Sharpton. Around 4 years ago, it came out that this guy was actually complicit with the drugs that was being actually flew in by the CIA, and he was getting part of the money of the drugs going into Harlem. They put it out on 60 Minutes and everything. And the next thing you know, it was pulled back. You didn't hear anything about it again. Al Sharpton played the game. They told him, listen, either we got the stuff on you. We got private tapes and everything. Either you play our game or we'll take you down. He started playing their game. It went away. This is how it works, brothers and sisters. This is the real world we're speaking of here. And they did the same thing during Antiochus Epiphanes' times. The Greeks never do anything different. They do the same thing. There's always some varmint that they can pay that will sell the people out. There's always a varmint somewhere they can find and say, you know what? We're going to put you up. You know what I mean? You're going to be our token to bring forth our satanic rulership over your people. Hey, we'll pay you. We'll make you a millionaire. Because what you will deliver to us is priceless. We'll pay you $1 million to deliver $1 million of your own, or $10 million of your own. We'll pay you that. Read.
Verse 9. Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise.
So he said, I'll pay you 150 more things of silver. If you do what?
If he might have license to set him up a place for exercise.
So they wanted to set up a place for exercise. That's where you get your modern day sports arenas. So they started recruiting our people into Greek sports. I'm reading it right here in Maccabees. I'm reading it. Before then, you didn't have us running around with some tight pants on and little shorts on. That wasn't, you would never see that. The Greeks turned us like this. And they have all these different subliminal signs in their sports. What position you play? Oh, I'm a wide receiver. I'm a tight end. This came from the Greeks. You got a grown man behind you with his hand like this, saying hike. This came from the Greeks. These are all ways to demoralize people and bring them down to what they're doing. And I'm reading these tactics they use, selling us out to the Greek games. Read.
And for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen.
And to train up the youth in the fashion of the heathen. The real institutionalized schools, training grounds for the slave masters. Read.
And to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians.
And then call them Antiochians instead of Israelites. The same way you call yourself Americans instead of Israelites. Or Europeans instead of Israelites. They became Antiochians. And don't say that can't be, because if Antiochus Epiphanes would have discovered America, today you would be called Antiochians. That's where you get your gains from. The Romans. And it's in celebration to the gods. You notice that in every big game that they have, you have your military there. You notice that? And they start talking about the brave men who have given their life for their country, who've been sacrificed. Oh yeah. So what they're doing is giving a public proclamation to the world that these young men and women were sacrificed to the gods of the Greeks. Yes, that's your sacrifice. The elites go into the neighborhoods and pick young men and women who they are choosing to be sacrificed, blood sacrificed to Moloch, to their gods. This is the war we're in, brothers and sisters. We don't know that the war is against us. In order for us to overcome this war, we must first understand who's fighting against us. Who are we? What are our position in this war? And we have to learn, in order to win this war, we have to stop fighting against each other. We can correct whatever we need to correct internally amongst us without being a public spectacle, killing and destroying each other, and having the nations use our internal fighting as and they'll point it out too, use our internal fighting to show that we can never come together as a people. We are the children of Israel.